CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualius. I'm here with Mike Molyneux and with Marv Zahn. And we're up and we're down. And we're up and we're down. Before we get into this defense has been the bane of my existence. These guys at the start of the season, guys, we were like, this is a solid defense. You got Bill Belichick, you got Cam Newton. This is a contending team. And the defense was just like, you know what? Forget about it. We don't want to be good anymore. And they're just on strike. They're on a playing good strike. These guys, they stink. I mean, just even looking back at the scores from the past couple weeks, you get excited because they beat the Jets, they beat the Ravens. You look at the Jets score. Guys, I just want to let you know, the Jets are terrible. The Jets stink. They almost lost to the Jets. 30-27. They gave up 27 points to this putrid New York Jets team. This defense has to figure it out. I'm over it. I don't have any faith in this team anymore at this point. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't want them to win anymore because if they win, they're going to get my hopes up. And then next thing you know, they're going to crush it. And it's just going to be a continuing cycle. But talking about Cam here. I saw some hate on Cam. I saw some anger on Cam, especially during the game, which mid-game I tend to give people a little bit of leeway because you're in the heat of the moment. You're upset. You're angry. But even post-game, you still have people who are calling for Cam's head, who are upset at Cam Newton, say this guy stinks. So, guys, after the Patriots' 27-20 loss to the Houston Texans, which I want to remind you, prior to that game, 2-7 record. Cam Newton caught some heat. Guys, is it fair to blame Cam Newton for this loss against the Texans? And really, we can go beyond that. Is it fair to blame Cam Newton for the Patriots' struggles this season? Marv, let's start with you. What do you think?
Cam Newton is not to blame for the Texans' loss. I know that comes as a shock. I get it. Cam Newton's mechanics are all off. It's just off. Sometimes he's throwing from his left foot. He's getting the balls batted down. The man's 6'5".
Can I? He gets blocked like he's a 5'8" quarterback.
The man is 6'5", and the first week I noticed it. Second week I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird for a man 6'5" to get his passes getting blocked down. And then it was on full display, museum-like, against the Houston Texans. We saw J.J. Watt from 2013 out there. Just SWAT. You remember when he was called J.J. SWAT? I haven't heard that nickname from him in years.
The first time J.J. Watt's done anything against the Patriots.
That was vintage J.J. Watt. The swatting passes down. Cam didn't. He looked in disarray. However, this game was not lost because of Cam Newton. You guys understand that although Cam has been struggling, his deep ball has been accurate. Probably one of the best in the league right now. He's improved greatly from September and October with his deep ball. You know who you have to blame for this game? And I've been waiting to talk about this man for a while now. And, I've given him a couple years of a pass. But tonight, Josh McDaniels has to go.
Josh
is the worst. The worst offensive quarter I've ever seen. His play calling is so frustrating. And I think the Houston Texans game, everyone can agree. Every time a play happens, you're just like, what in the world is going on?
I'll give you this. Damian Harris just disappeared in the second quarter.
I was getting there, brother. I was so bad. I took notes. Give me a second here. One sec. I took some notes in this game here. You bring up Damian Harris. So let's start with Damian Harris. First 12 plays, 36 yards, 7 carries and 36 yards, and a touchdown. First 12 plays. The final 54 plays, 4 carries and 7 yards. I want to remind you guys, the Houston Texans defense is the worst in the league. The worst defense in the league. Damian Harris has been balling up the middle. They've been running up the middle with success. They were running up the middle with success against the Texans. So what does Josh McDaniels decide to do? Starts to toss plays to the left side. Toss plays that didn't work once, didn't work twice, didn't work 4 times. It was a 3rd and 10. Then he started to do screens that didn't work. He had a 3rd and 10 screen to Rex Burkhead that didn't work. Then on 3rd and 1, he did another toss play to Rex Burkhead, and they didn't make it. You know what that led up to? Poor Rex. Poor Rex. Torn ACL now due to a horrible, horrible play call. Josh McDaniels has no idea what he's been doing the whole game. There was another play. I wrote these things down. Sorry. McDaniels called a run on 2nd and 19. And then after that, he called on a 3rd and 17, he called a screen pass to Myers. And that led to the field goal to 24-20. I don't even wear glasses. What the hell is Josh McDaniels doing? He is the reason why the Patriots lost this game, and he's been having a lot of bad games throughout this season. I don't know if it's not believing in Cam to throw the ball, not knowing what type of offense they're going to run. They haven't been able to make adjustments at halftime. It's been really bad, and you can put this game on Josh McDaniels for sure.
No, I mean, you also got to wonder too, and I'm not as much on the anti-Josh McDaniels train as you are. Does it worry the hell out of me that there's a lot of discussion, has been for years, that Josh McDaniels is the successor here, that he's going to take over as the head coach after failing in 2 other places, and then we see games like this? Yeah, sure. And I remember exactly that 2nd and 9 play, because I remember saying out loud, "What are we doing?
That's it.
What are we doing?" There was to run the ball in that situation was asinine, especially when Cam Newton had the game passing that he did this week. Guys, Cam, 65% completion percentage this week, 365 yards, 26 for 40 with a touchdown. Cam had a very good game through the air. A very good game.
Throwing the ball, throwing it well.
Let him throw it. Let him throw it instead of running the ball in 2nd and 19. I remember exactly the play that you're talking about because it was gross. Now, again, I'm not on the exact anti-Josh McDaniels train that you are, but the anger is there.
I've been on it for a while, Nick. So you guys have to excuse me.
The grudge game on this podcast is phenomenal. It's out of this world. All right, Mike, what do you think? Is it fair to blame Cam Newton for this loss against the Texans this week?
So I agree with a lot of the things Marv said. Play calling wasn't Josh McDaniels' best game. And I think this year it's been put on display much more than it has been in the past because, you're dealing with a new guy behind center who doesn't have the same talent as the previous guy behind center when it comes to throwing the ball and managing a game and managing the offense. But, Josh McDaniels, sorry play calling is really on display, and it wasn't this game against the Texans. But something I've been saying since early on in the season, and I think for some reason I feel like I started to take notice of it much early in the season, but now everybody's on the same page. Patriots have a sorry-ass defense. It's very bad, and it's been very bad all season, and especially in this game against Houston, it showed big time. When I'm telling you that Deshaun Watson seemed like he completed every single pass that he dropped back and let the ball fly, he couldn't miss. And I'm talking about Brandon Cooks having a great game. Will Fuller having a great game. I was looking at the stats here. Deshaun Watson finished the game 28 of 37, 344 yards, 2 touchdown passes, with a QB rating of 121.9.
121, okay.
Yeah, great game. And I'm telling you, Cooks had a good game. Fuller, he was connecting. And it seemed like in the secondary, these guys are just catching balls with no type of coverage over them at all. Wide open space. It didn't make sense. Every time a pass is completed, a guy would catch the ball and he'd look around and be like, okay, nobody's around me. Wow, this is great. Let me pick up some more yards. Because I don't know what the game plan is in terms of, playing the secondary. You're playing man, you want to play zone. Clearly, zone's not working. If that's what you're trying to, it wasn't making sense. And Deshaun, and this is no knock on Deshaun Watson, because I think we all can agree he's a great quarterback. And they lost DeAndre Hopkins this past season, but their wide receivers aren't that bad. You have a veteran guy in and Randall Cobb over there. Will Fuller's a solid wide receiver if he can stay healthy. And Brandon Cooks is a solid wide receiver if he can stay healthy as well. And then throughout early in the season, I know they lost David Johnson due to injury, but a combination of David Johnson and Duke Johnson, guys who can run the ball, but also, catch it out of the backfield, the offense is not bad. But the way they played against the Patriots and the way they were connecting and moving it up and down the field with no issue, you would think that Houston Texans are right at the top of the AFC. And they're not, because they're not good. But the Patriots had them looking like they were a top contending team in the AFC. That offense that I saw against the Patriots looked like they were ready to play the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. But we all know that's not really Houston. That's not really Houston. But it was that type of Houston that we saw against the sorry Patriots defense that we witnessed all season long. So, yeah, I understand that Cam Newton, his throwing is off here and there. He's throwing balls at the ground in front of guys, and they have to try to make terrible catches. The play calling from Josh McDaniels is always questionable. Marv's been on that guy's neck, for years now. But the defense is not helping at all. And if there was one area we probably thought could be a bright spot for this team, okay, the defense might hold it together. Gilmore, I know Gilmore's missed time, but Gilmore's still there. And Devin McCourty, this got to be it. This got to be it for Devin McCourty. It's time. I know he's been on the fence the last couple seasons, but that one play, I forgot who the player is, but just rolled over him into the end zone. My God. I was asking him to hang up his jersey after that play right there. So the defense has really been a letdown all year long. Like, we know the offense has its struggles, but the defense, who you'd maybe said, okay, maybe the defense can make some things happen, they're probably not even at the same level as the offense at times. Sometimes they're playing below the offense. Like, Cam is doing whatever he can, and these receivers who aren't big-time receivers are doing whatever they can. Jacoby Myers and Bird having the games of their lives, and look what still is taking place with this team. It's because the defense out there is still letting teams come out and just put up points. So I don't put it on Cam. I don't necessarily put it on the offense this time around in this game. I'm more upset at how the defense continues to let teams just pick them apart. Usually it's the run game. Patriots can't stop the run at all. But in this game, it was the opposite. Deshaun Watson was having his way. So I put it on the defense in that matchup against the Texans.
Well, listen, when you're Deshaun Watson, and we all agree Deshaun Watson's a very talented quarterback. I would love Deshaun Watson here in New England, but when you have 30 seconds to throw the ball every time, you're going to get somebody open.
Zero pass rush.
Zero. None. Even when you're rushing 3 or 4 guys, because the game plan was rush 3 or 4 guys, don't let Deshaun Watson get out of the pocket because he's really good against the blitz. So if you rush Deshaun Watson, you want to prevent him from getting those chunk plays that he can get when you blitz a lot of guys at him. So you'd rush 3 or 4 guys, but you should be getting some kind of pressure because the entire left side of the Houston Texans offensive line was out. So you should have gotten pressure. And the fact that they didn't shows you how bad this pass rush actually is. You can blame it on a couple of different factors. I'm upset at Josh McDaniels, too. I'm mostly upset at the defense. If you're blaming this game, or really any of the past couple games on Cam Newton, and you don't think he's playing well, you're not paying attention. Because Cam Newton is playing very well. So well that I would like him back as the Patriots quarterback next year if you don't figure out a long-term plan. Absolutely bring him back. But there's a lot of things that have to be fixed on this defense. A lot of things.